The Naruto world didn't collapse the moment that Naruto Uzumaki was sealed away. Instead, it cracked, slowly, quietly, and then suddenly all at once. Because Naruto wasn't just the 7th Hokage, he was the strongest of the 5 Kage. He was the strongest Hokage to have ever lived. He wasn't just the hero who ended the 4th Great Ninja War. Naruto Uzumaki, he was an anchor that was holding the entire shinobi world together. When you think about it, Naruto in so many ways was an anchor being. And Boruto 2 Blue Vortex has made something painfully clear. The moment Naruto disappeared, the world immediately began to spiral. Naruto was never just strength, he was stability when you think about it. Naruto wasn't the strongest because he could defeat everyone. He was the strongest because no one wanted to fight anymore. Naruto served as the symbolic leader of the 5 Kage. He was the emotional center of global cooperation, or mostly cooperation. He was a final authority when a lot of things went wrong. Not because he ruled through fear, far from it, but because everyone trusted in him. And that distinction matters. Because the instant that Kawaki sealed Naruto away and then accidentally triggered omnipotence inside of Ada to rewrite reality, we didn't just lose Naruto Uzumaki the man. We lost Naruto, the stabilizing force, and that's exactly what we'll be diving into in today's newest Naruto Explained video, where you'll see your original Boruto chief is unpacking everything you need to know to appreciate why our knuckle-headed Hokage is being proven quite literally to be like no other Hokage before him, just like he said he was, because that Naruto motion, it is insane in terms of his impact. So we first have to start with Omnipotence, the lie that broke the world. Once Omnipotence was activated, 3 things happened in close proximity. Prior to it, Naruto was removed from the world. Kawaki was then rewritten as Naruto's true son when he triggered Omnipotence, and Boruto was rewritten as the traitor who murdered the Hokage. Kawaki pushed that lie immediately. That single lie didn't just ruin Boruto's life, it destabilized global order. The world didn't rally calmly when you think about it. It didn't investigate immediately. It didn't seek balance. It reacted with fear. Everyone freaked out. Where is Naruto? We see that with people like Shikamaru's reaction. We see it with rage in the way that Sasuke was telling Sarada, you need to go home. I'm going to kill Boruto. Things gonna get ugly. Mitsuki didn't even ask questions. He just went right into sage mode and was ready to throw hands. And we also saw paranoia. And the reason why we saw all these different emotions from different characters was because without Naruto, there was no one left that everyone trusted to guide them in this situation. Had Naruto been there when Omnipotence happened, Naruto would have been able to be a cooler head. Even if you remove the Hokage died situation, say Kawaki never told that lie, but for whatever reason, Konoha was hunting Kawaki before Omnipotence happened, Naruto would put his foot down and that would be that. However, that's not what happened. Instead, Naruto was sealed away, Omnipotence happened, and the world's immediate response, it was chaos, and I love that. Look at what happened immediately after Naruto vanished. The village began to demand Boruto's execution. Sasuke was branded as a traitor alongside him because he helped the Hokage's killer escape. Sarada was warned by Shikamaru that supporting Boruto, it was destroying her Hokage dream. We saw Anbu mobilized in force. At one point, they were surrounding Boruto with over 20 Anbu Black Ops in another country. We also saw Gaara, somebody who was deeply touched by Naruto when they were growing up, to the point that Naruto changed Gaara's life. He personally led a team to hunt down Boruto. Obviously, that led to Matsuri whooping Gaara's ass, but you see what happens. The Land of Fire's feudal lord, he began pushing back against Konoha because of what happened. How come you can't kill Boruto? How come you can't find him? All of this is not a coincidence. This is all chaos. This is what happens when the world loses its moral center. Naruto wasn't just peace. I would argue that Naruto was probably trust incarnate. And Naruto's absence exposed a hard truth here. Naruto being alive, quote, alive in this world, it created peace. But Naruto being gone exposed whether or not that peace could survive without him. And that goes all the way back to a question that we got thematically in the battle of Naruto versus Sasuke in Naruto Volume 72. This is why, for as much as people say all this nonsense that Boruto does not carry over stuff from Naruto, this is why I do question when people say that, did you truly understand Naruto in the first place? I'm not saying that to be condescending, but I am saying it because what we're seeing here is an answer to the question that was being posed thematically in that battle. At the end of Naruto's manga, that final ideological conflict, it wasn't necessarily chakra. They did use a lot of chakra-based jutsu and blow off each other's arms, but there was a philosophical debate that happened before that. Sasuke's answer to peace, it was about force. Sasuke believed that peace could only exist if one overwhelming power ruled the world. All that hatred was centralized onto himself, that no nation dared dissent. Instead, they would be unified in their hatred for Sasuke, because he saw what happened in the Ninja War and he said, okay, so they were afraid of Madara and they all worked together, they had cooperation, fine, I'll be that one that they hate. Sasuke was prepared to be a dictator in so many words, and he planned to do it forever. He said it himself. With the Rinnegan and the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan and everything he learned during the war, Sasuke had the tools of immortality towards him. And he could have done it between Edo Tensei and knowledge of the Rinne Rebirth and taking cues out of Madara's long-term manipulation in terms of how Madara got himself revived, which will also be linked down in the description box. What if Sasuke killed Naruto? If you need further insight into Sasuke's plan and what would have happened, which that also has custom sprite animation in it. Strongly recommend that video. But Sasuke's plan was simple. If everyone hates me, nobody will fight each other. If nobody fights each other, then there will never need to be a need for another Itachi. He believed Naruto's peace was temporary. He believed it was fragile. He believed it was naive. But Naruto's answer, it was basically trust and cooperation. Back in 2014, when those chapters came out, I mean, I took the same approach. I thought Sasuke was, even though it was dark, I thought that his answer was more realistic than Naruto's. I thought that Naruto was basically the embodiment of trust me, bro. But looking back at it and seeing what we have now, I understand what Kishimoto was trying to do, and Ikimoto's actually conveying it here. Naruto rejected that path completely. He believed that peace, it should be built through bonds. It should be built through cooperation. That cooperation and compassion matter more than fear. That the next generation should be raised to surpass you. That the world needs guidance, not domination. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Naruto and Sasuke were so powerful that dissent, when you really think about it, became impossible. Which brings me to that next point, the quote illusion of peace, or the Naruto paradox. So when you get into the Naruto epilogue stories, in particular the ones set in the Boruto era, this exact concern was raised at one point. Naruto and Sasuke having so much overwhelming power, it meant that no nation could realistically ever oppose Konoha, even if they didn't agree with everything they did. That alliance was basically built on the fact that, yeah, we trust Naruto, but if there's ever a war, boy, are we screwed. It doesn't matter what kind of alliance we put together. We're all cooked. Nobody thought that it would come to that, but it was kind of thrown out there. Hey, you get all this information about Sasuke and we find out after the fact. This is supposed to be an alliance, and yet you withhold information from us. You have unilateral executive authority to choose whatever path moving forward. We get no say in the matter until after the fact. It's basically making the argument that disagreement is basically symbolic. And I want to use like a real world example for you to understand this. Naruto, without realizing it, he unintentionally became what the United States is to the United Nations. It's a stabilizing force, but it is also one of the few countries that was rewarded after World War II the de facto veto power. When something comes to a vote to the United Nations, if one of, I believe, 5 or 6 countries decides to veto, the entire thing is killed. Doesn't matter if every other country that was voting for it agreed. If one of those majority powers that was awarded after a war decides to vote no, you got to go right back to sequence, basically. My comic book fans who remember Spider-Man 1, the Tobey Maguire movie, you'll get that reference, but I believe the 5 nations, if I'm not mistaken, it's the US, it's Russia, the UK, China, and France. That's basically Naruto. He's all 5 nations rolled into one. Naruto, in this moment, he acts in good faith. He always has. Naruto does not have an evil bone in his body. And yet at the same time, because of how strong Naruto was, the world never had a chance to test whether or not peace could survive without him. And that's why Kawaki's sealing Naruto away and telling everyone that Naruto's dead is so important. Because it allows Boruto Uzumaki, Naruto's son, to answer the question that Naruto couldn't when Boruto's teacher Sasuke posed it to Naruto in volume 72 of Naruto's manga. That is why Naruto had to be removed. And I want to go into depth to explain this. I see people saying that this is disrespecting Naruto by writing out the story in this way. It didn't. Instead, when you take emotion out of it, our favorite crayon eating Hokage got sealed away. Boo-hoo. When you take emotion out of it, this allows Naruto's story to be finished, the story that he started, the story of peace. That's why we had to get chaos. Boruto 2 Blue Vortex is asking and answering the final Naruto era question. What happens when the peace, when that symbol of peace finally disappears? And the answer is that it's messy, it's painful, it's unstable, but it hasn't completely collapsed entirely. It's still holding together. Loosely, but it is holding together. Boruto is carrying Naruto's legacy through the suffering. Boruto's suffering is not pointless. It is proof of Naruto's impact. Boruto is enduring execution orders, global hatred, false guilt, betrayal, isolation. I would even argue depression based on some of Sumire's observations, and yet he still protects the village. He still warns Konoha Shinobi about the Shinju. He still returns his sword back to his sheath in order to avoid those shinobi draining themselves of chakra. He still tells them it would be a waste for the village to lose talented shinobi. He is looking out for them. That is Naruto's will of fire. Only it's being expressed in silence instead of speeches. That is that Sasuke effect really rubbing off on Boruto. We see it further with Sarada standing for Boruto. That's Naruto's dream in action. Sarada is also proof that the world Naruto wanted to build can endure when Naruto's gone. It's poetic that the children of Naruto and Sasuke are answering the question that was posed during the battle of Naruto and Sasuke. Sarada Uchiha is continuing to defend Boruto. That's not reckless idealism. It is proof that Naruto succeeded. Sarada is willing to risk her Hokage dream. She is able to stand up against public opinion, stand up to the acting Hokage Shikamaru. She is willing to defy public pressure. She literally wears the Uchiha crest on her earrings as a open act of defiance. She is wearing that jacket, by Ikimoto's own words, to remember Boruto by. She is standing by him. She is protecting someone that the world hates by wearing those earrings on top of wearing that crest on her back, the Uchiha crest, those Uchiha earrings. That is her doubling down. I stand with my father. That's not weakness, that is conviction. That's the very thing that Jiraiya imparted into Naruto, which is to have the guts to never give up. Naruto didn't just create peace. He created people willing to defend it even when it was unpopular. Konohamaru and that old generation, they're also stepping up. Naruto's generation, which that's Konohamaru, it's not collapsing without him. They're adapting. Shikamaru is carrying unbelievable, unbearable political pressure as the 8th Hokage. Konohamaru is pushing himself to go stronger. That Rasen barrier jutsu is absolutely insane. You see Gaara still leading from the front, going out there personally to hunt down the person he believes that is Naruto's killer. We see based on that the Kage, they're still cooperating despite the instability. As soon as shit went sideways with Gaara, Kankuro called straight to Konoha to talk to Shikamaru. That's exactly what Naruto believed would happen. He never wanted the world to rely on him forever. He knew that that was impossible. He wanted the world to learn how to stand on its own. It was his hope that as he's there in the living world, he can guide the world towards a sustainable peace that you see in the future. Seeing all these new threats rising up, it doesn't mean that Naruto failed. Yes, those new threats like Jura, they keep emerging. First it was just code, now you got Jura. There's probably gonna be something right after that. The world's definitely more dangerous, but that doesn't mean Naruto's ideology was wrong. It just means that peace isn't passive. Peace requires people to keep choosing it, even when fear itself returned. Boruto's living proof that Naruto was right and that Sasuke was wrong. Boruto didn't inherit Naruto's dream. He inherited Naruto's burden to a degree, to be hated, to be misunderstood, to protect people that do not like him. And yet, unlike Naruto, Boruto isn't doing this for recognition. Naruto eventually became Hokage. Boruto does not care about Hokage position. That's evolution narratively. That's what I love about Boruto and Naruto symbolically. The world without Naruto is definitely rough, but it still cooperates despite everything. We know that the Kage still interact. Alliances, they're still in existence. Nations still are in a moment where, even when facing darkness, they can reach out to each other. Individuals are still shown choosing compassion in different ways. That matters because it proves that Sasuke wasn't entirely right. Force wasn't the only answer. Force is required in a time of peace, but force is not the primary thing that you should be using during a time of peace itself. Naruto's legacy was never truly about power. Naruto didn't just save the world by being the strongest. That played a part in it, but he saved the world symbolically by teaching it how to move forward without him. We're seeing that happen now. Boruto's suffering proves how much Naruto Uzumaki the man mattered, how much Naruto Uzumaki the symbol mattered. But Boruto's endurance also proves that Naruto was right. Even without the sun, which Naruto is the sun in this instance, even without the sun, the world itself, it hasn't gone completely dark. And that is the true legacy of Naruto Uzumaki, because even in a world where Naruto is believed to be dead, it's not engulfed in darkness because the embers of the will of fire that belong to Naruto, they're still burning. And eventually those embers are going to set ablaze and come roaring back to life, blazing anew. You know that was a nice line right there. Obviously, if you enjoyed that video, consider subscribing, clicking on the left to check out more Naruto Explained videos, or clicking on the right to check out videos from my other two anime channels where I talk about non-Naruto anime and manga.